Hi everyone. This is Rohit, and I'm here. I'm working as a software developer in Frappe since more than 5 years. And today, me and Nabin are going to cover the stock ledger reposting part. And basically, in version 13, we did a major refactoring in the stock ledger reposting, and we decided to do this because we are consistently getting the huge number of tickets, support tickets on the stock ledger reposting part. So let's start with the presentation. First is like a overall um, agenda of this talk. So basically we'll cover the what is the inventory valuation and what are the different types of method to calculate the valuation, and how this valuation works in case of backdated transaction, and what were the issues related to reposting in version 12, and how those issues we have fixed in version 13. And also we'll cover what are the current problems we are facing, and the next plan of action. So let's start with the what is the inventory valuation. So it's inventory valuation is nothing but the total cost of the products which is there in your stock. And why this required? Because in inventory, sorry, in accounting side, we have to show the total available stock cost in the balance sheet. And so basically whenever we purchase the products from our vendors, that cost needs to be shown in the balance sheet. So once we increase the stock, the balance sheet stock asset cost will be increased. And once we remove the stock, let's say we want to dispatch the goods to the customer, or we want to issue the materials, right? So that time we have to remove the stock. So when we reduce the stock, we have to calculate the reducing cost, and that cost we have to book under cost of goods sold, which is again a expense accounted. So to calculate the cost of goods sold, we required the valuation rate. So now next move to the we will see the so there are basically three different types of valuation methods. First is FIFO, LIFO, and moving average. All these methods are as a standard methods, and those are we using across all the countries. So let's start with the FIFO method. We'll try to explain all this method using some example. Let's assume we are running a t-shirt shop. So basically we are purchasing the t-shirts from the vendor, and we are selling it to the customers. So let's take an example. Like right now, we don't have any stock in our shop. So let's say we purchase 10 quantity of t-shirt worth rupees $50 each in the first lot. We have purchased one more lot with of 20 quantity with purchase cost as $60 each, and we purchase one more lot after some time for a 5 quantity with purchase cost as a $55 each. Now we have a customer who bought a 20 quantity from our 20 t-shirts. So basically, as per FIFO, firstly added item needs to be removed first. So in this case, we'll get the 10 quantity from the first lot, and with the valuation rate with the cost as $50, and we'll get the remaining 10 quantity from the second lot, with the rate as $60 each. So with that, our COGS value become 1100, and the balance value on the balance sheet will show as $875. So this is all about the FIFO. We'll next move to the LIFO method. LIFO is reverse to the FIFO. So we'll take the same example, like first lot we purchase 10, second lot 20, and third lot 5 quantity. Now again we have a customer where we have to dispatch 20 quantity. So here, as per LIFO, we'll move out the first item which was added at the last. So as per that, we'll get the 5 quantity from the last third lot, and the remaining 15 quantity from the second lot. So as per that, the COGS become $1175, and the balance value for the 15 quantity is $800. Okay, so this is from LIFO. Next is moving average. So for moving average is basically we'll calculate the average cost of the each item. So for that again we'll use the same example, and here we'll basically calculate the average by total cost, which is a 1975 total stock value divided by the total available quantity. So it's basically a $56.42 will be the valuation rate for each product. Now let's say again we have removed 20 quantities, so Cox will book as $1128.57 and balance value is $846.3. Now if you compare all this method, you can clearly see that there is a difference between each Cox for each method, right? And the stock balance. So again, it's up to the organization for, I mean, they can set up the valuation method in the system as per their requirement. Now come to the interesting point, the backdated stock transaction. So basically, back in case of backdated transaction, and if you are using the FIFO method, basically we have to do the reposting of future transactions. So to understand how the backdated transaction and reposting works, let's see some example. So let's assume we purchase 10 quantity of $50 from the of vendors on 1st of April. We have received one more lot of 20 quantity with $60 on 1st of June. And we have delivered 15 quantity to our customer. So as per FIFO, we will pick the 10 quantity from 1st April and remaining 5 quantity from the 1st June, and we'll book the Cox. Now let's assume due to some issue, user has forgot to add a transaction and he wants to now create a backdated transaction, right? So he placed a backdated transaction on 1st May. It was basically a purchase entry. So he have purchased 10 quantity with $45. Now, as per FIFO, we have to do the reposting of the all the future transaction. So in the reposting, what and we do the reposting for the same item and the same warehouse. So in the reposting, what we do is basically we first revert the 1st June of transaction. It's become 20, and then we'll remove the 5 quantity from the 1st May of transaction. So earlier the Cox was booked at $800 and this was booked at $725. So that's all from my side. I would like to invite Nabin to tell us more about the issues related to reposting and how those issues we have fixed in version 13. Over to you, Nabin.
Hello everyone, good afternoon. So I'm Navin, and many of you know me, and who does not know, or them basically, I am a founding member of Frappe and a long time developer of YarkNext. Today I will just showcase a few of the issues related to stock ledger entry and how we fixed them in version 13. So the first issue is related to stock ledger and backdated entries, and when there is a inter-warehouse transfer in the future. So let's take the same example which Rohit explained earlier. So only difference here is basically instead of delivering the 15 quantity from warehouse 1, there is a inter-warehouse transfer to warehouse 2, and then we deliver the item to the end customer from the warehouse 2. So this is the scenario, and now let's say we have a backdated entry on 1st May, 10 quantity at $45 rate. So obviously our expectation will be like system will recalculate cost of goods sold and item valuation for warehouse 2 also, but unfortunately it does not happen until version 12. It gives wrong cost of goods sold for warehouse 2. So that was a huge problem in version 12 until version 12. So there was the use case for this, like when you do internal transfer for subcontracting or for transferring raw material in the manufacturing process, or it was also there for some cases of sales return and purchase return. The issue was there. So the solution is basically what we did is basically we have identified all the dependent future entries, considering all the related warehouses also, considering inter-warehouse transfer and all those things. So to do that, we need to maintain the dependent entries. So we maintain the dependent entries inside the stock ledger entry when we create them. And after basically by doing this, we able to achieve reposting of all the related future stock ledger entries, and it fixes the cost of goods sold for all the related warehouses. Yeah, this way basically currently you will get correct cost of goods sold for all the warehouses. And the second issue was related to a timeout. In case there is a lot of future entries, to correct, or in case of backdated entry. So sometimes what happens, it gives you timeout error. So the process is simply like client, which is a browser in our case. Browser sends a request to the server to process the stock transaction submission process. And in the server, we create stock ledger and general ledger entries. We update quantity for the future entries, and we also update quantity in bin. And then we also repost item valuation for all the future stock ledger entries. This is the whole process. And after doing that, server gives a response to the client. And but generally this process has a maximum timeout of 5 minutes. Sometimes when there is a lot of future data, it takes more than 5 minutes, and it resulted to timeout issue because client does not get any response in that case. So to fix that, what it did basically in server, so we broke the server processes into two parts. So when you submit the stock transaction, it will only it will only create stock ledger and GL entries, and it will update the quantity on bin and in your future stock ledger entries. But it will not repost item valuation immediately. That will be a separate process which will be handled by a background worker, and that will be initiated after this process is completed. So in this way, we get rid of the timeout issue. And to implement that, we initiated a new doc type called repost item valuation, which is created after submission of every stock transaction. And this actually triggers or manages all the reposting of future ledger entries in the background. We also give you a to set a time slot for stock reposting. So if you want to, let's say, if you want to set your to do your reposting in your non-working hours, so you can do so by using these settings. But still, we are getting a few problems in this related to stock ledger entries and reposting. So let's talk about them. Again, we are getting some timeout or waiting time due to lockout. Yes, again, this is timeout issues, but it's a little bit different from before. So let's take an example. So let's assume this is the stock ledger entry table where we maintained all those quantity, balance, quantity rate, stock value, etc. And we made a backdated entry on 5th January. So as soon as we submit that stock transaction, the balance quantity will be updated for all the future ledger entries. And but the stock value part will be managed via reposting. So while doing reposting, basically the background worker, what it does, that it locks all the future rows to avoid the updation of those values by other processes. So all those rows are locked, and in the meantime, let's say, assume user made another stock transaction on current date, and on submission of stock transaction, that stock transaction, basically it creates a stock ledger entry, and it will try to update balance quantity in that stock ledger entry. And to do so, it will fetch the previous balance quantity from last SLE. But as you can see, that row is already locked by reposting process, right? So it will wait until it unlocks that row after ending the reposting. So sometimes what happens that reposting takes a lot of time, more than 5 minutes, and it does not get the return, and it gives you a timeout error basically. So to fix that, we have some idea in mind. So we are thinking that maybe we will separate out all the stock valuation related fields into a separate doc type from stock ledger entry. Let's maybe we can name it item valuation entry or something like that. So requesting will happen on only on the item valuation entry table. So it will log only that table, and when you submit a stock transaction, it will immediately affect only the stock ledger entry table, and there will be no locking, and so it will not give you any timeout issue. That way we can solve it, but it is still in idea stage. Maybe we will start working in the next 2 months. And the second issue is related to basically optimization. Currently, whenever we submit a stock transaction, immediately it creates a repost item valuation against that stock transaction. Let's say you received a specific item multiple times on the same day, and the same item is the part of multiple stocks transaction. So in that case, we end up doing multiple reposting for the same item and warehouse. So to solve that, we are thinking to do reposting at the end of the day for only for the distinct item and warehouses. So that is also pending. Yeah, but soon we will work on that. Yeah, so thank you for listening. Such a boring talk, but it was really beneficial for us as a community, even though it is sounds a little bit boring, but it saves us a lot of time because we are getting a lot of issues related to stock ledger entries in last few years. Rohit had many sleepless nights due to that. So I think it will help us. And believe me, this forward calculation of item valuation is very unique feature of ERP Next. Not unique, but the feature present in very few ERPs. So yeah, thank you. So now, if you have any question, you can maybe ask on chat.
Yes, thank you. So it was definitely not a boring talk, obviously.
Yeah.
And
thanks.
Thank you for teaching us how to recalculate valuation in case of backdated stock transactions. We already have a couple of questions lined up for you in the chat. Maybe you can try answering them, and people can go on adding their doubts and queries in the chat box.
Yeah.
So there is a question related to how do we change our method from, for example, from FIFO to moving average backdated. So right now we are not allowing you to do change the valuation method if the stock transaction if the stock transaction is there in the system against the particular item.
Okay. So Jairam asked that have you considered a hybrid approach that combines the best of perpetual and periodic inventory, where periodic inventory is the default, but once a day or week or whatever, it posts the appropriate inventory and COGS values. Yeah, that will be a good approach. Actually, we can try that. Currently, obviously, we did not try that, but definitely we can try that. That will be interesting. So what if there are 4 counters issuing out of the same warehouse at the same time or same item? So I think that will not create a problem because in the backend, basically it locks all the rows related to that item, and until that process does not end, it does not give permission to modify other processes to change that. So that taken care of, I think. So there is an interesting question. If it is enqueued, then would backdated entry reposting get lost in case there is a bench restart or server reboot? So no, it does not, because we create repost item valuation record for every transaction, and basically currently processes in every hour. We try to fetch all the non-completed, incompleted records, repost item valuation records, and based on that we initiate reposting. So if you basically restart bench, then it will not be marked as completed and it will be taken care of. So Mitesh, you are saying that it is showing incorrect actual quantity after transaction in case of there are parallel entries. So we can take this offline, where we can discuss this, in which case you are finding that issue. I think we have reached our specified time of 20 minutes, and maybe we can take question on our Telegram group. Linda,
Sure. Rohit, do you want to answer any from your side?
So, so this again the question related to changing valuation method. So maybe you can create a new item and start with and just transfer the balance from one warehouse to another. I mean, currently we are not allowing to change the valuation method.
Yeah, as per my knowledge, no other ERPs also does so, allows changing valuation method in between. So you need to create separate item.
And also one more question regarding incorrect actual quantity after transaction. So maybe you can create a repost item valuation for that item, and you can define the posting date of the posting date as an incorrect date transaction. So system will take care of it.
So there is a question, last question I am taking. So in case of multi-company environment, how to do material transfer? So basically for the multi-company environment, every material transfer is like a sales and purchase, So basically you need to create a sales invoice for one company, and other company will be treated as customer. And in the other side, you need to create a purchase invoice to receive that material. Yeah, a lot of questions coming, but I think we are running out of time. So we'll continue to answer them on Telegram chat. Maybe
so there is ERPNext documentation that you can refer to. I can see a lot of generic questions which can be solved. All you have to do is go to docs.erpnext.com and it'll help you solve your queries. Okay, thank you, Nabin and Rohit.
Yeah, thanks everyone.
Thanks.